A lot of people claim that there's a curse that every season 3 of Fortnite is unsatisfactory aside from chapter 1. So what I'm gonna do is reach into the melting pot of cringe and lay out all of their cards on the table and see if that claim has any merit to it. And at the end, I'll try to figure out why season 3s have this perception. I'm just gonna hop into it, use my creator code layo1 to cheer up these sad puppies. OMG, they're so sad. Okay, start the video. I think that this is what Fortnite Battle Royale wanted to be at launch, because Season 0 and Season 1, they were buggy as shit, and Season 2 ironed out most of the bugs, and Season 3 in itself is a good foundation. This season was a turning point that really enhanced the popularity and endurance of the game. The launch of a larger battle pass, themed cosmetics, and enhanced gaming mechanics, in conjunction with the public eye looking at this game, really made it become what it is today. The deagle and hunting rifle showed up this season and they were like, yeah, we're based. Even more fan favorite items and weapons were introduced this season, but most importantly, the gameplay felt smoother. Building didn't feel as clunky with the introduction of turbo building and the optimization improvement for console performance. LTMs were still prevalent during this time, like the teams of 20 game mode and Blitz, and little details like the grenade launcher Easter egg reskin for Easter time, which is actually a reference to the cult classic Egg Bunny 2 on Steam. Go check it out. It's the first season that teased things like the comet in the sky. There were a lot of cool ideas like the guided missile launcher that my friends and I would abuse the shit out of until it was taken out, which I don't know why they took it out because people should have adapted, but overall this is a harmless season with a strong sense of gameplay. It wasn't revolutionary in terms of map changes, but as mentioned, this is what Epic probably wanted to start out with.
Stop. No. No. Vibant!
This season gets a lot of shit from people, and I kind of see why. The water's very awkward to navigate, especially when having fights in it. You're obligated to land at Caddy Corner for the shockwave launcher and the mythic charged shotgun, and the implementation of the charged shotgun in general, at the expense of the regular pump. But let me just put in my personal bias really quick. I fuck with this season so hard. I love the charged shotgun. I like having to plan out your shot and charging it up for more damage. Sure, the charged shotgun was a new shotgun to get used to, but given that we had the same song and dance occur for the combat shotgun back in chapter 1 season 9, I think it's safe to say that some people ended up liking the charged shotgun by the end of the season. And you know what? I commend Fortnite for doing that. They had the balls to take out a beloved shotgun in order to shake up the gameplay. And that's really it in terms of gameplay mechanics for this season. Well, shit.
Holy shit!
Yeah, so cars were introduced this season, and given that this current season of Fortnite is car-centric, I thought I'd touch on these things really quick. I've already talked about cars in length in one of my older videos, so for that I'm not going to repeat what I say. However, I will mention that it's clear that Fortnite wanted to make sure that these things were balanced, and I think that they were a little too balanced. Literally opposite of the spectrum. Like, gas would drain like crazy to the point of essentially needing to carry a gas can around. I do see why people find this season to be lackluster with the water levels rising. Map changes in chapter 2 were absolute donkey shit across the board, but I'm willing to look past that because the loot pool was harmless, if you don't count this broken ass combo. The gunplay felt so good this season. The Fortilla was a goated ass location, the shark mechanic was funny if anything, but they did kind of get annoying at times. But I think what the season suffers from the most is the fact that it kind of gets forgettable, given that it's surrounded by two of the best seasons to ever grace Fortnite. But for a summer season, I think they did a good job.
I need it!
The Vibant season is recently well known for being Donald Mustard's last season, and with that in mind, I'm not so sure that that really makes this season any better, because this is a very weak season. I like what it stands for and what it represents, a get-together of sorts, and theme park-esque, but the weapons were kinda dog shit, mainly the prime shotgun and the two-shot shotgun. The prime shotgun's gimmicky nature, where it's super powerful on the first shot, then shoots bubbles for the rest of the shots, was extremely unnecessary. The new weapons this season were either okay or just too situational. Like, there are cool aspects of the season, like Dragon Ball, but balance-wise, yeah. I know Donald Mustard wanted this season to be chill and wanted to finish his collab wish list with Darth Vader and Indiana Jones. While charming, the season was still a miss. And it pains me to say that, but honesty, you know? The Vibant season and chapter 3 in general is a gigantic blur for me, but from what I can gather and recollect, this was a season that struggled in a number of crucial areas, like weapon balance, gameplay tempo, and lack of meaningful map changes. And it was just kinda mid.
But we just wanted to
Get out of my house!
Oh shit!
I'm disappointed with Wilds, mainly because in my opinion it's the only bad apple of Chapter 4, and if this season actually delivered, I think Chapter 4 would be looked at a lot differently. For some reason this was the season that I started playing the game on a daily basis again, which was a weird ass decision on my part. I feel like Fortnite seasons where the themes revolve around Western guns in the late 1800s kinda struggle in terms of the loot pool. There are exceptions obviously, but if you think about it, the lever action rifle, the lever action shotgun from Chapter 2 Season 5 are like the worst guns ever made, and the flapjack rifle, while more viable than those guns, still shares similarities in the vein of feeling very clunky to use. I know that some people liked the thermal DMR, especially if you're on controller, and it does have its uses, but if you're worried about long range, then you're better off using the mammoth pistol because that should demolish people no matter the range. I don't understand why they put the pump shotgun in a cloning machine and called it the sharp tooth shotgun, when it's literally just the same shit, but made it weaker with longer range. And if they're gonna be separate in that regard, they should have just had two different models to separate them, but I digress. What really had people's panties in a bunch was the donkey diarrhea of a summer event, which gave you free ice cream, yay! Summer events or seasonal events in general kinda deserve a separate video, but in reality I wasn't that heartbroken over it, but something that I did roll my eyes at was the Jujutsu Kaisen collab. Let me make it clear, I am not against collab items or POIs. What I have a problem with is when it's like this. Collab items could be optimal. The Todoroki Ice Wall in Season 4 was a great collab item because it was a utility item, and wasn't a giant mega power item, it was just a little thing you kept in your pocket to use during a pinch. I just don't want to rip into the season. I did very much enjoy the jungle biome. The way of traversing that shit was so exhilarating. While some areas in the jungle were better than others, I think this is a welcomed change. But the guns this season, the summer event, the JJK shit, not a lot of people's cup of tea, and is probably the weakest Season 3 of the bunch.
Energy bar! Have some!
Looks like a shit ball.
If you think about it, Chapter 1 had 10 seasons. Each season had a lot of wiggle room to experiment, implement big map changes, and content to fill up the chapter. You could even say this about Chapter 2. Despite it having 8 seasons, it was only Season 3, and they could totally get away with flooding the whole ass map. Chapter 3 and 4, they both only have 4 seasons each, and the yearly chapter approach kind of makes seasons formulaic in a way, and Season 3s are in that awkward in-between where they can't add like 3 new biomes because they need to save room for the final season, and they also need to somehow expand on Season 2, which kind of leaves Season 3 in this shitty position for the most part, and to be honest, I think the only antidote for this is to make chapters longer. They don't necessarily need to be 8 or 10 seasons. I think 6 is a good number, like right in between. And I think Epic Games should listen to me because I know best. After looking at it, it's definitely safe to say that Chapter 1 Season 3 is definitely the best Season 3, go figure, and I think I can get away with saying that Season 3's actually got worse over time in that order. Personally, if I had to choose, I would say that Chapter 2 Season 3 is the best, but Chapter 1 had the most grounded gameplay. The world fell in love with Fortnite during this time for a reason. Now for predicting how Chapter 5 Season 3 is gonna go, that's very tricky. It's way too early to tell given how different this season is to pretty much every season ever. I don't even think I can give this even a placeholder ranking like last time, so I'm not even gonna compare it to these right now. Anyways, that's all I have. Thank you for 9,000 subscribers. You're all wholesome chunguses. Anyways, I'ma head out, have a wholesome day, and fly away today.